What if I told you the silence is finally broken and lawyers are officially involved? After months of rumors, side eyes, and whispered allegations, Melody Shari has reportedly taken a serious legal step that could change everything for Martell Hole and Arion Curry. This isn't just shade, it's paperwork. Fans thought the drama was at its peak, but a newly surfaced legal notice suggests the real story may have just begun. The big questions now are, why now? And what exactly does Melody want stopped immediately? The details behind this move are calculated, strategic, and far more revealing than anyone expected. For those following Love and Marriage Huntsville, this situation has been years in the making. Melody, Martell, and Arion have been locked in a messy triangle, spilling far beyond reality TV into real life. What started as infidelity rumors eventually turned into public breakups, court filings, online shade, and non-stop social media commentary. Up until now, most of the chaos existed in interviews, Instagram lives, cryptic captions, and fan speculation. This alleged legal notice marks a very different chapter. When lawyers get involved, it usually means someone believes boundaries have been crossed in a serious way. In this video, we'll break down what led up to this moment, why Melody's move is strategic rather than emotional, and how Martell and Arion's recent actions may have pushed things too far. To understand why Melody sent this notice now, we need to look at the slow-burning buildup that has been happening in plain sight for years. After her divorce from Martell became official, Melody focused on rebuilding her life, her business, her children, and her personal growth. Publicly, she stopped engaging in drama. No more public arguments, clapbacks, or addressing every rumor online. It looked like she had moved on completely. But behind the scenes, the noise never really stopped. Martell continued talking about Melody in interviews and social media, often framing himself as misunderstood. Arion's posts became more pointed, with captions about being silenced or speaking the truth. Fans initially brushed it off, but patterns emerged: repeated mentions, subtle digs, and timing that aligned with Melody's milestones. Legally speaking, Melody's silence could have been strategic. Instead of reacting emotionally, she appeared to be documenting screenshots, timestamps, and repeated behaviors. This builds a strong case rather than a storyline. Alleged references to Melody's children, her parenting, and her character as a mother reportedly escalated, prompting what fans believe was her turning point. Legal notices rarely target a single post or comment. They're about a pattern of behavior. Melody's notice likely wasn't impulsive, it was calculated. Recent months reportedly saw both Martell and Arion more vocal than usual. Interviews resurfaced, posts were made, and the tone shifted from personal feelings to statements that could be interpreted as factual, legally significant when a public figure is involved. Fans noticed phrases like "my truth" and "being silenced" that coincided with Melody's achievements. One particular interview with Martell, combined with supportive posts from Arion, may have been the final straw. What seemed like personal opinion began to feel accusatory, creating potential legal risk. Timing also mattered. Statements reportedly came just as Melody was celebrating business and personal wins. Some viewers believed this was no coincidence, almost like an attempt to hijack the narrative. Melody's silence is key here. Legal advisors often recommend no public response, since every emotional reaction can be used against you. Fans also pointed out that once the legal notice surfaced, the conversation online changed immediately. Posts became vague, lives were shorter, and words were chosen more carefully. This is typical when legal paperwork enters the picture. It signals consequences and shifts power. Legal notices typically address three issues: defamation, harassment, and interference. First, defamation. Even indirect statements can be grounds for action if they damage reputation. Second, harassment. Repeated mentions and coordinated timing can be interpreted as unwanted behavior. Third, interference. Public narratives can affect business, branding, and public perception. Melody's extended silence may have been preparation, ensuring documentation was solid before taking action. Once a legal notice is sent, ignorance is no longer an excuse. Any continued behavior could be considered willful, changing the power dynamic completely. What was once telling my truth can now appear as defiance. The tone online cooled almost immediately. Past posts and interviews were revisited for evidence. Minor involvement added another layer of sensitivity, making neutrality harder for viewers. Melody didn't announce her move publicly. There was no dramatic post, no victory lap. This restraint made the move feel protective rather than provocative. A legal notice reshapes the conversation. Rules change, boundaries are clear, and those once comfortable speaking freely must think twice. Finally, legal notices force a decision. Will the other parties risk continuing behavior? This could push the situation in a direction no one was prepared for. For fans, what once felt like messy reality TV drama suddenly became serious. Now, it's not just about who's messy, it's about who has the receipts, who's confident in their position, and who's ready to face consequences. With the legal notice in play, the dynamics between Melody, Martell, and Arion are completely changing. What used to be social media drama is now a high-stakes game of strategy. Fans are paying attention to every post, every interview, and every subtle reference because any detail could matter in court. Supporters of Melody see this move as long overdue, a way to finally set boundaries and protect her peace. Comments flooded in online. She's protecting her life, her kids, and her brand. Others applaud her restraint, noting that she didn't need to respond publicly to prove a point. Her silence, paired with legal action, speaks louder than words ever could. On the flip side, Martell and Arion supporters see this differently. Some claim Melody is trying to control the narrative or silence others. But even within those defenses, the tension is palpable. If nothing wrong was happening, why involve lawyers? That question alone shifts the power. Suddenly, perception isn't just about drama, it's about credibility, responsibility, and consequences. Once the notice went out, the online energy shifted dramatically. Topics that had been discussed for months suddenly went quiet. Planned lives and interviews were postponed or canceled. Fans recognize that kind of sudden silence isn't coincidental. It's usually strategic advice. Looking back, old posts, interviews, and social media activity are being dissected like evidence in a case. Statements that once seemed harmless may now be viewed in a different light. Minor involvement or indirect mentions of children can have significant legal weight, which makes the situation even more serious. Melody didn't announce the legal notice herself, which further proves this wasn't a performative move. Instead, it came across as protection, protecting her reputation, her children, and her boundaries. With the notice, the rules have changed, the boundaries are clear, and those who were once outspoken now have to reconsider every action. This legal move also forces Martell and Arion to make tough choices. Will they continue their behavior and risk legal consequences, or will they step back and avoid escalation? The stakes are real now, and every action from here on could have lasting implications. For the first time, the narrative is no longer being driven by social media reactions or reality TV gossip. It's being driven by consequences. Melody has regained control of the situation without posting a single comment online. And fans are left asking, who actually has the most to lose if this escalates further? This moment proves something crucial. When it comes to real-life drama, silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. And in Melody's case, it may be the smartest move she's ever made. As the dust settles, fans are now watching every move from all sides with heightened attention. Every post, every vague caption, every subtle reference is being scrutinized because the legal notice has officially raised the stakes. What was once just messy reality TV drama has now entered the realm of real-life consequences and real-world stakes. Melody's supporters see this as a long-overdue power move. They praise her for finally setting firm boundaries, protecting her family, and taking control of her narrative without giving in to emotion. The silence, paired with legal action, sends a clear message. This isn't a game anymore. Meanwhile, Martell and Arion are under pressure. The notice has forced them to rethink their public commentary and social media presence. One wrong move, one careless post could now be used against them. What was once freedom of expression now carries real legal risk. Fans also noticed that the tone online changed almost immediately. Conversations that were once chaotic and loud have gone quiet. Social media accounts that were previously active have slowed down, posts are more guarded, and even casual comments are now carefully crafted. This is exactly what legal notices are designed to do: shift behavior without a single public confrontation. Looking at the bigger picture, Melody's move demonstrates a key principle. Strategic silence combined with proper documentation can be more powerful than public clapbacks or social media rants. She has positioned herself not just as a participant in drama, but as someone taking control of her life, her narrative, and her boundaries. For viewers, this marks a turning point. The narrative isn't about who said what online anymore. It's about consequences, accountability, and strategy. And if this situation escalates further, every action from Martell and Arion will be weighed carefully, both publicly and legally. The lesson here is clear. Sometimes stepping back, documenting the pattern, and letting the law handle it can be the most powerful response of all. And as fans watch this unfold, the drama has taken on a completely new dimension, one that's no longer just reality TV, but real-world stakes with very real implications. So, what does this all mean moving forward? For Melody, this legal notice is more than just paperwork. It's a statement. It's her way of saying she won't tolerate ongoing harassment, defamation, or interference with her life and her family. It's about protecting what matters most: her peace, her reputation, and her children. For Martell and Arion, the stakes are higher than ever. Every post, comment, or public statement could now carry consequences. The freedom they once had to speak openly about past events or personal grievances is now limited, and that shift has fans watching every interaction closely. The online conversation has already changed dramatically. What used to be casual speculation and fan debates has become serious analysis. People are revisiting old posts, reading between the lines, and asking, who has more to lose if this escalates further? And the answer is starting to feel very real. The balance of power has shifted. This isn't just reality TV anymore. This is a lesson in strategy, restraint, and the importance of setting boundaries. Melody's silence and careful documentation demonstrate that sometimes the strongest move isn't shouting back on social media, it's taking action behind the scenes in a calculated and measured way. For viewers, this marks a turning point in the Love and Marriage in Huntsville saga. The drama isn't gone, but it's evolving. What was once online speculation is now about real-world accountability. And with the legal notice in place, Melody has clearly signaled the rules have changed, and everyone involved will need to think twice before acting. The next chapters in this story are still unfolding, and one thing is certain: the stakes have never been higher. Every move, every comment, and every interaction could reshape the narrative completely.